I am in my bridal era because, yes, that's right, I'm getting married this summer and I wanted to just lean into it without actually transforming my wardrobe into all white. Now, I love a white tee, it's the perfect basic, but what about adding a flirty twist? So in today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to make the ruffle tee. Now, I've done this before. I've done it as a Valentine's look and it paired perfectly, it paired perfectly with the Asymmetric Culottes. An all red outfit, looked like the sickest jumpsuit, could not recommend enough. But if you want to get your mitts on this pattern, then I will link it down below. It is a really easy make, predominantly because you don't have to finish the ruffles. I know, it's like the lazy girl's sewing dream. So if you can choose a jersey fabric with a 40% stretch and take your time cutting out the flounces to create this really flirty feminine detail, then you will be able to add this to your wardrobe as well. It comes in 11 sizes, and I would argue this is a very easy sew, and you can also choose between the curved crew neckline or a soft V-neck option as well. Now, I initially designed this as a proud member of the Itty Bitty Titty Committee because adding volume and this feminine edge to the front is really good at flattering that kind of figure. However, since working with my amazing pattern testers, it is proven that this works on a fine range of bodies. And so I really do think if you're looking to add a basic to your wardrobe with a twist, that this might be the pattern for you. And because so many of you commented on my luxury t-shirt video how to do the professional neck tape finish, I'm going to be showing you how to do that in this sew along as well. So what you're going to see in the video might be slightly different to the instruction booklet that comes with the pattern, but isn't that why you love fashion? There is no real right or wrong way to do things. So if you did want to pick up the pattern, the instruction booklet will give you an alternative way of sewing it. This sew along gives you a slightly different route to creating and construction, but both of them result in a flirty little number. And hopefully you'll agree that this is an easy make to add to your sewing wish list. So let's jump in. We want to start by unfolding our front lower bodice, and we will have marked our 1 centimetre seam allowance on the corner here in whatever method you like. That could be a tailor's tack or a fabric pen, as I've used there. And you then want to bring in your front bodice flounce and flatten out that top edge. This is what creates the volume. And so I appreciate as I'm making a plain white tee, this might be a tricky one to see, but you're going to flatten out whatever colour you are choosing, this front bodice, and you're going to match up the corners here to the corners of the lower bodice, and we can pin this in place. You want to match up your notches, notch to notch, pin that in place, and then follow the curve of the armhole round as well. And what we then want to do is just baste up and around this edge, securing that in place before we sandwich it with the top half of our front bodice. Once this is basted in place, we can then bring in the front top half of our bodice, and we can sandwich that ruffle that we've laid flat in between the two. And so we can unfold the top half, again, match the notches along the top, pinning in place, and we can sew that together all along there, and you want to give that a good press at the iron. We can then repeat the exact same process with the back pieces, and so we'll bring in our back bodice, we'll baste our back flounce along the top and across the base of the armhole. So bringing in your flounce, you want to do the same thing, flatten it out. This is a smaller flounce on the back. We have a larger, more feminine shaped drape to the front. So this just carries on as a continuous feminine ruffle. And so we can repeat the same process. We want to pin this in place, matching up at the notches and sewing around the base of the armhole, all along there and around. If you baste, try to keep it within your seam allowance so that your stitches aren't visible, although you can remove them. And then once you've basted that in place, you can bring in your upper back bodice pattern, unfold this and sandwich that flounce in along the top, just as we did with the front bodice. Give that all a good press and your back and front bodice are done. With both front and back sewn and pressed, this being the front with your softer, deeper flounce to the center front, and the back has this really nice continuation. Right sides together, we can pin them at the shoulder seam on both sides, and we can secure this with a line of stitching on both shoulder seams. Once this is done, we can open up our bodices and we can give our shoulder seams a press, but also stay stitch around your neckline. So just within the seam allowance, a line of stitches. This is going to really help it avoid warping out of shape. And I'm also going to give you a bonus technique on how to finish this shoulder seam in the back of the collar in a professional way. So many of you on my luxury t-shirt video were asking how to do that. And so I'm here to deliver that for you today. But give this a good press, and then we just want to stay stitch around the circumference of the neckline. Same applies if you're making the V-neck alternative of this design. So with my stay stitching around my neckline, I'm going to bring my neckband in and I'm going to sew it, folding in half. I'm going to stitch along the short edge here, and that is going to create a nice tubular neckband. And then once that's stitched, we can fold that down and give it a press. And so with my neckband here, I have just sewn down the short edge, and then I have folded this in half lengthways and given that a press at the iron. So this nice neat folded edge is what goes up against your neck as the wearer, and then this raw edge of the two pieces, two layers of fabric, are what we're going to attach to the bodice of the t-shirt. And so give that a good press at the iron. The next thing you want to do is quarter mark this, and you can use the seam as a placeholder. So just fold it in half with that seam right on the edge, and you can come in with scissors and just notch the opposite end, and then you want to pull it in half until that seam lines up with that notch, and you can then notch the other end. This is how we're quarter marking. This is just going to make sure that when we insert the neckband, the tension is done evenly around the neckline. And then depending on the size of your neckline, you can bring this in and you can measure around the circumference of your neckline, measure the whole thing from start to finish, and you want to divide that in 4, and then you'll be able to quarter mark from one of your shoulder seams that distance there. So for me, this neckline, I believe, was 51.4 centimeters circumference in total. Divided that by 4 is 12.85. And so from this shoulder seam, I measured 12.85 and I marked it here. I measured 12.85 and I marked it here. I measured 12.85 and I marked it here. And once we've quarter marked it, we can then align our neckband to the quarter marks of our neckline. And when you align the seam line of the neckband onto one of the shoulder seams, just make sure you pop a pin directly through the entirety of that seam, and that's going to really help that match up. You're putting it directly through the seam line. So when you sew this and you flip that inwards, it's going to be a continuation of that seam line there. And then the first 4 pins I'm going to put in will align to the quarter marks on my neckband and the quarter marks on my neckline on the bodice. And then following which, you just want to ease the rest of your neckband around the circumference of your neckline, and you can sew that in place. So with our neckline attached and pressed, I've pressed the seam allowance into the bodice, so it's pressing that way. If we turn this inside out, you can see I've pressed that all around the edge into the bodice. This is a little extra hack just to neaten off and give your t-shirts a professional finish. So totally optional. You might want to move on to the next step, but what I've got here is a strip of jersey, same fabric. This is also a great opportunity to do it in a contrast color as a fun little peekaboo detail on the inside of your garment. And I've just folded in the long edge. Because I'm working with jersey, you do not have to cut this on the bias. If this was a woven fabric, then you would be cutting that on a 45-degree angle on the grain line. What I'm going to do, as you can see, I've folded in along the long edge. The unfolded edge on the inside of my garment, I am going to place all along from the shoulder, all along, pin that in place, and I'm going to pin all around the edge of that seam allowance. So if you wanted to, you could fold your work so that seam allowance is exposed along the shoulder and along the back neckline only. So get all your work out the way, and I'm going to pin that all along. If I flip my work, I've got my back neckline seam allowance to the top of me here. Bring in some pins, and this is why it's great to have a length that has excess. And I can start on the edge, overlap it ever so slightly if you need to, and I can pin that in place. I'm going to go all the way along. I'm not trying to stretch it into place. I'm trying to just let the fabric organically do its thing. There's no notches necessarily to match here. It's just a case of pinning this length all the way along from one shoulder seam to the other and across the back neckline. And I will be using Mariflex thread to stitch this in place. You want to just take your time when you get to the corner where the neckband meets the shoulder seam, but you can fold that over and pin along. Even though you've folded that edge up at the iron, you might find it easy or easier to just unfold that, just so that you've got the length of this tape to work with without catching anything. And so the two layers are your neck tape and your seam allowance. And now what you want to do is stitch this neck tape to the seam allowance. So all the way along, one line of stitching, and secure that in place. Now, with that secured, so you can see I've attached it to the seam allowance running all the way along. I've attached this little bit of fabric here. You can fold your tape back over where we've already pre-folded the edge and over again. This is going to cover the seam allowance. And so what would have been exposed overlocking on the edge here, as you can see, is now going to be covered by this neck tape. And if you give that a good press at the iron and fold that down, you can then edge stitch all the way along here. And that is going to cover the back of your garment. It's going to be a super neat finish. And the interior of your t-shirt will be as neat as the exterior. So go ahead and do that. If you lay your garment interior side facing you, you can see I've got this excess tape here, which I can now snip off. I'm still going to keep a little excess hanging off because this is going to be caught into the sleeve head and the armhole seam. So this will neaten off itself anyway. But what we can do with our neck tape at the iron is just fold that up and over, and that nice neat folded edge will just really tie off the inside of your garment. So we're going to fold that up, cover the seam allowance, and edge stitch that down and closed. So we now want to give our neckline a good press, but after finishing with your neck tape, you now have a really beautiful and enclosed interior. And from the exterior to the back, all you can see is a very subtle line of stitches. Now your neck tape can be as wide or as narrow as you like, but the whole purpose is to cover the seam allowance so that it is smooth on the skin for the wearer. And then we are now going to enclose the excess hanging off on the shoulder here into the sleeve head and the armhole. So same principle, it really is quite a nice straightforward make. You can put your bodice to one side and you can bring in your sleeve and your sleeve flounce. Now, as with any sewing pattern, 2 notches indicate the back of a pattern and 1 single notch indicates the front when we are relating to the armhole and the sleeves. So I'm going to just peel these so that they become a pair, so that we've got the front notch this side and the back notch this side. We want to make sure that they are both reflected for the left and right of the bodice. And then I can bring in my flounce, put the other one to the side. On the head of the sleeve, we have a double notch to this side and we have a single notch to this side. The notch to the top of the sleeve head represents the shoulder seam. So we know that this is the front of the sleeve and this is the back. We have 2 notches on the flounce here and we have a single notch on the flounce this side. So what I want to do is align the single notch to the edge of the sleeve head here and the double notch to the sleeve back. So we know where this is going to lay. And then right sides together, you can pin them and match that center notch accordingly and just flatten that flounce out and pin your ruffle in place. You're going to have overhang because this is what's going to attach to the armhole of the bodice. And once that's all pinned in place, you just want to sew that together. So once you have sewn and pressed this, if I flip this the wrong side facing, you can see I've pressed my seam allowance into the flounce, down into the flounce. You can bring your Ruffle Tee bodices back in. This is the back, I can tell from the neckline that I've got going on here, but I can also tell from the slightly shallower depth of my flounce. And you've got the front here. With your sleeve, a single notch mimics the front, and a double notch mimics the back. So what I want to do, the single notch, the center of the sleeve head, aligns to my shoulder seam. So right sides together, I'm just going to pin that in place. And can you see how this small bit of overhang is about to be enclosed in this seam line here? So the overhang of our neck tape, that was the professional finish we've just done, now overhangs ever so slightly, and we're going to be enclosing that in the seam. You then just want to pin the rest of your sleeve around the armhole, rest of the sleeve head. Where the seam line is by here, you want to match that and align it to the seam line of the ruffle on the bodice. This is going to give you that really beautiful continuation that the Ruffle Tee offers. So flip your work however's easiest for you, and I can match my seam lines here. Again, using the trick of putting a pin right through the center, right through the middle of both seam lines. That's going to give you the most accurate result. I can then pin the rest of my sleeve around my armhole. And so with your sleeve pinned all the way around, we just want to sew along that line there. And once that's sewn on, you can see a really nice continuation of that ruffle. We've matched the seam by here. You just want to repeat the same on this side. Once we're at this stage, we can bring our bodice, turn it inside out and match it from the sleeve hem all the way down the side seam and to the hem of the bodice. And so we're just going to sew up, making sure that your bodice flounces are caught in the side seam. So flatten those out nicely, and you can pin those together, matching them so that they align. Because again, we want that continuation. We want your flounces to line up. We want your armhole seam to line up. And then pin the sleeve flounce, and then the notches at the waistline on the bodice. You can align there before aligning it to the base of the hem, and then easing the rest of the fabric into place once you've aligned your notches and your balance markers. And so pin that all in place, and we're going to sew all the way along here and repeat that on the other side to enclose your bodice. And then all that's left to do is to hem it, and we have a Ruffle Tee. So with the sleeves attached, I can trim away any thread ends, finish the edge of the hem, and then at the iron, I'm going to be pressing this up and securing that in place just to finish off my t-shirt. The lovely thing about the Ruffle Tee is it's such a beautiful lazy sewist make, because if you take your time and take care cutting out the ruffles and the flounces, making sure that there's no jagged edges as you cut these, try and do it as smooth as possible, whether that's with a rotary cutter or just taking your time and being very careful with a pair of scissors. Depending on your fabric, you do not need to finish this. A jersey fabric will not fray. And so it's a really nice, super simple, super quick make, but a perfect twist to add to a basic to your wardrobe. So once this is pressed under at the iron, making sure I do that evenly all the way round, I can secure that in place. And that is my Ruffle Tee finished. And so there you have it. This is actually one of my OG patterns, but it's the first time I've gotten around to filming a sew along to go with it. I just love the continuation of the ruffle and how it kind of capes around your body, falls around you like a really beautiful, effortless cape. And of course, if you wanted to hack this into a simple t-shirt pattern, then you could simply remove the ruffle and just tape the top and lower bodice pieces together and have a basic t-shirt to add to your wardrobe as well. So it's not only a really easy pattern to sew up, but it's a really easy pattern to hack and have variants of as well. Hopefully this is delivering to you just in time for Valentine's Day if you fancied something flirty yet casual to wear as an outfit. And of course, please do tag me on social media if you make this. I would love to see your twist on it. It has been such a pleasure seeing what my pattern testers created and how you guys have interpreted this through your own lens. And this is officially my first bridal make of 2026. Of course, this and all other patterns are included as part of the DPL Atelier membership. But for now, stay safe, keep creative, and I'll catch you on the flip side.